Alright, so here's the review over, here's the video over the review. Review over the review is what I was about to say. So anyways, whatever. Pause if you need to see this. These are the answers. Bada bing, bada boom. You can notice I crossed out some because, well, I just didn't like them. As I looked over them, and I'm not going to give you something that crazy and hard anyway. Anyways, so here's some more. You can kind of try to, do whatever you have to see or whatever. Look at it. I don't know how it gets better. But there you go. So those are the answers, and kind of go from there. So what can you have on the formula sheet? Let's talk about that, and then I'll discuss some strategies that might help you. You can have like a little chart about the diamond math to kind of help you with the idea of like what numbers will go to what for the parentheses. You might want to add here, like on these, you have to add, and here you have to subtract. Oy vey. It's so nice that I can write so well right now. Really. Okay, so add, subtract, that type of thing. You might want to make note of like the quadratic formula, which is negative b plus or minus b squared, square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all of that over 2a. But keep in mind the blanks. Make sure that you have it where the blanks, and that you know that it's ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. The important part is that it's equal to 0, so that you know that, hey, the b number can go into those first two blanks. The a number is going to go into that one next to the 4 and the one next to the 2. The c is going to go over here at the end. C is kind of ignored. Anyways, there you go. You might want to make note of the discriminant. B squared minus 4 times a times c, positive. When you get a positive number, 2 real, a negative number, no real solutions, get a 0, 1 real solution. And that's kind of about it. I mean, let's look at what you can do to get some of this. How I've redone this test, I don't know. I've kind of been thinking about how I'm doing this test, and I've been playing it back and forth. But let's look at some of the different things here. I've shown you different slides there, all kind of fast. You could always pause if you needed to. But let's look at something like on number 1, test taking strategy. You see something that says do the greatest common factor, and you got 12x squared y squared z minus 24x squared y cubed z plus 16 x squared y cubed z cubed. Dang nab. Let's try that again. The pen's not working with me very well. Okay, so anyways, let me set up some answer choices for you, okay? Okay, so here's some answer choices. Now, look, greatest common factor, 1, when you see a question asking about GCF, get rid of anything that has 2 parentheses. Just get rid of it. But 2, think about this. Greatest common factor wants you to find the biggest number that can divide. So 4 is the bigger number here over 2. And look, does 4 go into 12 3 times? Yes. Does 4 go into 24 and 6 times? Yes. Does 4 go into 16 4 times? Yes. So you can cross out A, because you already know that 4 is going to work. Then look at it this way. Okay, the first term has 2 x's, 2 x's, 2 x's, the first, second, and third. First term, second term, third term. And I can get 2 groups of x's. Okay, so it says x squared. That works for me. Okay, the next one says 2y's, 3y's, 3y's. And okay, I don't know where exactly I paused my recording, so I may have messed up. So if I have gone over this problem already, just kind of go with it, because, well, I was just being all sorts of bright. Anyways, so here we have a great GCF type problem. The idea is, we want to, and I'm kind of guessing where I left off when I hit pause, because apparently I've been talking for like 5 to 10 minutes without actually recording anything, which makes me feel super bright. Anyways, so greatest common factor. Okay, if they're asking for the greatest common factor, anything with 2 points, 2 parentheses, just cross out. Then we want the biggest number. So we do the biggest number. Okay, does does 4 go into 12, 24, and 16? Okay, 4 goes into 12 3 times, 4 goes into 24 6 times, 4 goes into 4 goes into 16 4 times. So yes, this number will divide into all three of these, so I can get rid of this. I think I can actually oh, hey, look, I'm redoing stuff. Okay, so then it comes down to, okay, let's figure out our x's. So I don't even need to worry about the numbers anymore. I've already taken those out. I'm using my answer choices to my advantage. Okay, I had x squared, x squared, x squared in all three, so that means I can make two groups of x's, and that both of them say x squared, so I took out two groups of x's. No x's inside the parentheses. And then the next one I have y cubed, oops, I'm missing a y cubed, that's what I did. Okay, so I got y squared, y cubed, not exactly sure what happened here, but again, two groups of y squared, that's two groups of y's, so that says I should have a y cubed, or I'm taking out a y squared. So something should tell me that I took out a y squared, not a cube, so B is gone, C has to be my answer. So kind of keep in mind what you have to do for your answer choices to help you figure that out. And then ignore everything else that's being written here because, oops, there we go. Let's look at some of the factoring. So don't forget that, like, you know, the number at the end, you're putting there. If you're having trouble coming up with the big numbers, like saying, oh, how do I get the 78, factors of 78, go to the graphs page, press 7, like the number divided by x, so the top number, 78 divided by x, press enter, then Control T to get the table. And on the table, you would probably see something that would say something like this: 1 and 78, 2 and 39, 3 and 26, 6 and 13, ignoring any decimals. Don't care about the decimals. Okay, and then we're looking again that these should add, because plus and plus, they should add. So 3 plus 26 gives me 29, and that would be in the parentheses. And it's as simple as that for factoring. How do I know if it's prime? Well, same idea. Keep in mind you do need to multiply the first and last number. So I'm looking for a number that multiplies to give me a positive 36, but would add up to a negative 14. Minus minus, because plus minus is a minus minus. And then you did on your calculator, well, these are your factors of 36. None of those add up to 14. So since none of these can add up to 14, it is impossible to get two numbers that multiply to get 36 and add up to 14. So that's when I would say prime, because it's not factorable. And then the other thing was about discriminant. So discriminant is the b squared minus 4 times a times c. That's all it is. And again, if I ask you for the discriminant, notice here I'm just plugging in the numbers, figured out a and c. Negative 10 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 9 gives me 172. That's your discriminant. Since it's positive, it tells me that there's two real solutions. Whereas like on number 24, I'm going to do the discriminant, and if you do the thing, you should get negative 140. And because of that, you're saying no real solutions. So no real solutions, and there you go. Beyond that, I think that kind of covers a lot of what we need to do. I've given you some ideas of what I want you to put on the formula sheet. Just try to make a formula sheet that helps you guys. I mean, it helps you study to do this also. And don't forget that if you stable it to the test, you will get 5 extra points and kind of go from there. As far as the word problems are concerned, for my pre-AP classes, I decided to make those bonus, so I don't know why I decided to be generous with y'all, even though y'all weren't being too generous with me. But anyways, I digress. Good luck with this. I hope that y'all watched this and it helped. And I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Thank you. Take care.